at time of recording, I recently got a comment that I thought was a good jumping point to explain a few things regarding Lilith, regarding the left-hand path, and regarding what that means for the likes of, well, Christianity or right-hand path people or Jesus, right? This might not make sense to you right now. I will try and find the comment. If I can't, I'm sorry, and I'll put it on the screen. But in a nutshell, the comment said that they were confused because of other creators saying that Jesus is an enemy of the left-hand path and of Lilith. And because I work with Lilith and I've done left-hand path practices, they're confused. They're confused by this. Right, so let me explain to you. Jesus is not the enemy, right? What the hell? So let's get into it. Right, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm Sarah, that divination witch. This channel is a safe space so you can ask questions, nothing silly. You know, I'm answering a question right now. We don't judge, and I'm not judging the person who asked this, definitely not. If you want to join, just hit subscribe, it's free. And if you want to support me or the channel, all of my links are below. I do a lot of different readings. I've got Patreon as well, teaching different things on there. We're going through our own path working as well. So yeah, I'd be grateful if you could check it out. Thank you. This is a lot to unpack, right? So I don't know what or who the creator is that this person was referencing, but they're wrong. And I don't normally say that people are right and wrong, and I normally say on this channel, to each their own, you know. What works for one won't work for another. Now, they're wrong in the context of the grand scheme of things and the reality of things, but I will say, whoever this creator is, if that's their prerogative, whatever, do what you want. It doesn't bother me. Everyone's different and we're not going to agree, right? But this is my stance on it and why I think they're wrong. There are a lot of people that think I'm wrong, and I don't really care. At this point in my spiritual practice, I know that there is a bigger picture out there and all this is trivial, really. But I'm sharing it to try and help people because not everyone gets that yet. And that's not me being egoic. It's just reality. There's a big picture. Anyways, so Lilith, first and foremost. Lilith as a being, as an archetype, is rebellion, is liberation. She is also the dark, divine feminine. She can be labelled as demonic, and she does have those aspects to her. Demonic doesn't always naturally mean evil. Demonic can be of the earth, like chthonic used to mean. It can mean many things to many different people, you know. It's a big label. Not to say that she's all sunshine rainbows, because she's definitely not. But she does so many things for so many different people. She's a complex being. But her archetype as a whole, when you hear the word Lilith, it's rebellion, really, and liberation, and going against God, going against the social norms. She's more than her Jewish myth. She is more than that. She's a very ancient, powerful goddess in her own right. So with that being the case, naturally, us as humans, with our conditioning, if you've got the conditioning of good versus evil sort of thing, you would think that she is up to no good. You know, if you are someone who believes in angels versus demons kind of rhetoric, you would think, oh, well, she's up to no good, and therefore people who follow her must be up to no good as well. And the left-hand path, oh, that must be dark and dangerous and scary and whatever. It's not. The reality of the left-hand path, it is the crooked path. It is the death path in a way. And it's not to say that you're going to die. It's not to say that you're hurting people. It's death to the old you. It's death to the ego. It is deconstruction. It is intense. It is dark, yes. And it's dark in the way that not everyone can handle, all right? Not everyone can see past it. People think that they're being attacked by these beings like Lilith and even Hecate. You know, they call her evil and say she ruined their lives and things like that. Well, you're not ready, because the essence of the left-hand path is to break you down, to build you back up again, because we've got a lot of falsehoods about ourselves. We've got a lot of misconceptions and things like this. So yeah, that's what the left-hand path really, truly is. And if you can understand that, then you know Lilith isn't that, okay? And there's more to her than that. And therefore, like it or not, people don't realise there is no enemy, all right? The concept of Satan is a title. Some people don't even think Satan's real. Some people do, whatever, each their own. Even if he was real, okay? Is he all evil? Is he, you know, it's very philosophical. It's very deep thinking. These questions provoke a lot of, what's this? What's that? So that's that bit anyways, okay? But Christ, Yeshua, Jesus, he wasn't the only Christ, okay? And if you look at Abrahamic teachings, first and foremost, why are there like 3 main religions of the Abrahamic traditions? Why can't you all agree? And even within your different religions, like Christianity, how many different types of Christian is there? Baptist, Orthodoxy, Catholicism, Protestants, Methodists. And then you've got your more, I'm sorry to say it, more cult-like in a way, like Jehovah's Witness, Mormons, things like this. Flummeneck. You can't even agree on how to worship your own God. Follow your own teachings, you know. But all these things, and I'm not getting at these people, you know, each their own, if it works for you, whatever. Because everyone's path is unique and different to finding God, to finding enlightenment, purpose, meaning, reality, truth, whatever. But even with that being the case, all right, that's just an example. Judaism has their own thing. Islam has their own thing, all right? Different types of Muslims, different types of Jews. Yeah, you can't all agree. And then they're not even the only Abrahamic religions. I mean, the Gnostics have been down this rabbit hole right now. And there's a lot of truth in that, I feel. Some people won't, some people do. The Gnostics frame the Christian Abrahamic God as an evil being called the Demiurge. That's a story for another time. And then you've got apocryphic texts that say, you know, they were written out of the Bible. Like there's Greek texts written out of the Bible, and then there's other gospels like Mary Magdalene's gospel written out the Bible, and she was villainized, you know, another female, by the way. So we've got all these different takes on things and no one can quite agree. But there is one thing I find interesting and that really, really resonates with me. And that's the concept of Christ. And I'm no biblical scholar by any means, it's just not my jam. But what I do know is that Jesus, or Yeshua, did not say that he was the only Christ. What he was trying to do was tell people we can all be Christ, meaning the Christ consciousness, meaning enlightenment, meaning that we can all find connection with God, with Source, with the Creator, with the universe, a higher purpose, a higher meaning, by respecting ourselves and respecting other people and being open-minded, learning, etc. Jesus as a person, even back in biblical times, if we're going off the canon, biblical stories, as a person, he was not accepted by the masses. He was vilified, he was scapegoated, and he was the ultimate scapegoat, the sacrificial lamb, you could say, the Lamb of God, you know, he was a martyr. And there are many takes on his story and things like this. And yes, people believe he is God reincarnated. To me, he isn't. Okay? And he isn't an enemy either. If he was to reincarnate today, a lot of people who supposedly preach in his name and spread not so nice things in his name would probably not like him. Okay? And why? Because he thought outside the box and he wanted to help people truly. I believe Jesus had good intentions. I believe that he was a prophet of his time, sort of thing. He was a spiritual leader of his time and he broke the mold. He, in an essence, was left-hand path because he wanted people to think for themselves. He didn't want people to be subservient to something in that way. Yes, respect God, respect the teachings, all that jazz, but also you've got to unlock the Christ in you. And that's why I don't feel he is the enemy. This bullshit, and I'm sorry for saying it like that, but the evangelical idea of Christ, the ones that attack me all the time, whatever. I had a comment today saying, girl, you need Jesus. Babes, if Jesus was here right now, he wouldn't be backing you. Let me tell you that. Or people like that. Because that's as bad as the people that were around in Jesus' day, the Pharisees, that ended his life, essentially, because he wasn't complicit, he wasn't complying with the law either, with the teachings, yeah. So it's sheeple, as people say. These people are sheep, and I'm sorry to say it, but even when I was from a Protestant background, I was christened as Protestant as a baby, no choice in the matter. Every church I've been to, they talk about the flock. They talk about, in the service, they talk about how we are all the flock of God and all this stuff, and very much imagery to do with lambs and sheep and things, and there's no coincidence with that. And let me just say as an aside, the last time I was in a church was for a christening, actually. It was a few years ago now, but it was an old friend, we've lost touch now, where her baby was getting christened. As much as I don't agree with that, it's not my place to say, so I went along. And I didn't, I was part of the congregation, let's say. I didn't participate, but I witnessed it, and I got the baby a gift and whatever. It is what it is, because again, each their own. I can't tell someone what to do and not do. And I'm not going to fall out with someone over that. At the end of the day, I know I was a baby, I was christened, and if the baby, when she grows up, finds her own way, she does. If she doesn't, she doesn't. I don't think it means much, to be quite honest, when the participant doesn't have free will or knowledge or anything. So I don't think it means much in my eyes, but, But when we went there, the service, considering it's a christening, it's for a baby, it's for a supposed innocent soul, and it's meant to be a light time. The vicar just kept talking about the devil. And I'm thinking, where the hell am I? No pun intended. The devil, the devil, the devil. Yeah. What? Yeah. So there is a lot of that in all of these different religions and different denominations of these religions. But truthfully, in my eyes, Christ, Jesus is not the enemy. He is energy, because what is Christ consciousness? It's enlightenment. It is the God particle. It is self-deification. It is connection. It is your higher self. That's Christ consciousness. We can all be Christ. It's just a name for it, right? So in my eyes, no, that is not an enemy of the left-hand path. That is the left-hand path in that context, And as for him and Lilith as spirits, I mean, I've never seen them in the same room. Now there's a rabbit hole I'm currently down, and I don't know enough to properly speak on it yet, but I will at some point, because I've been asked about this as an aside. And that is Mary Magdalene and what she believed and who she followed. I mean, I've got books on it about the Black Madonna, about Jesus and Mary actually worshipping a goddess. Some people say it's Isis. I've seen that Mary has been linked with Lilith, as in that archetype of being a scapegoat, because the church did make her into something she wasn't. I mean, I believed it until I researched into Mary, because I didn't really know much about it. It's what I was taught, literally in school, that she was a prostitute, when she certainly was not a prostitute. But, you know, that's the thing. The feminine gets vilified. The feminine is demonized and is turned into something it's not. And Lilith is very much that archetype. And therefore, I don't think, if they were in the same room, I think they'd get along. Most deities do, in my experience. Most higher powers do. It's not what you think. Yeah. I mean, even Archangel Uriel, I found out not long ago, he's also listed as a demon sometimes. It depends on the angle you're approaching these beings. And angels aren't all fluffy, love and light, living in the clouds, little cherub things. They are higher powers, and they are brutal when they want to be, right? So, yeah, and they're not down here on Earth, having human girlfriends and stuff like that, because that was the fallen angels. I've seen people talk about stuff like that. That's why I'm saying that. Anyways, sorry, I'm going off on a ramble, so I will end the video here. Christ is not the enemy. Jesus is not the enemy. That's brainwashing and that's a limited mindset. Okay, so that's my take on things. I hope this has helped. If you've got any other questions, put them in the comments below. I'm happy to make a video about it. And if you made it this far, you may as well hit subscribe. Check out my other videos on the channel. We've got a whole playlist on Lilith if that's something you're interested in, but I make all sorts of different videos. And until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye bye.